I mentioned the appropriate, I hope I mentioned the appropriate recording. Last one was She Named It Trevor episode 6. So this is She Named It Trevor episode 7. No, this is episode 8. The last one was episode 7. Oh Lord, I hope I said it right. I don't even know. This is Live, Breathe, Beat, Desmoid, Tumor, She Named It Trevor, episode 8. Oh my goodness, episode 8. Ah! Alright, so welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you guys again so much for joining me this week. I am so thankful for all of you that have been following along with my story. I know that it is lengthy, and that is exactly why I'm giving it to you bits and pieces every Friday at 12 noon so that you don't get tirelessly overwhelmed. And for those of you who have been watching and keeping up with all of the uploads and, you know, just following along, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that this is encouraging somebody. Again, my name is Brianna. I feel like I need to say that. My name is Brianna, and I am a desmoid tumor survivor. And so far, my story, we have gotten to the point where I have had surgery. I have finally had surgery by now in Pittsburgh at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, otherwise known as UPMC. And we are now at the point where I'm in the ICU recovering from my surgery. I had surgery Tuesday, August the 6th, 2013. It was a 9 to 10 or 11 hour surgery. According to my mom's note, she said I went in at 7:07, came out at 6:08 p.m. So you do the math. And I didn't actually wake up. I didn't come out of anesthesia until August the 7th. I remember waking up. As you can see, I wear spectacles, prescribed spectacles, and so without them, I am very, very nearsighted. So seeing things far away can be challenging for me. And I remember waking up, no glasses on, and I looked over and I found the clock on the other end of the room. I'm in the ICU, and I squint just enough to be able to see that it's a little after 7 a.m. And I remember waking up and there was a vent tube down my throat, and the first thing I wanted to do was extubate myself. I was trying to yank it, because that is uncomfortable. You breathe, you know, through your lungs, goes up your air pipe, it comes out your nose or your mouth. You breathe that way, you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out. So I have this tube that's going into my lungs that's breathing for me, and I don't need it anymore because I'm breathing on my own. So like all I want to do is get the darn thing out of my mouth. And I tried so many times that they eventually ended up restraining my arm, restraining both wrists onto the bedside because I kept trying to extubate myself. I remember that. That was horrible because I don't think it was till after about 9 o'clock I'm awake and aware, and I've got this thing in my throat and it keeps making me gag, and my arms are locked to the sides of the bed because they're afraid that I'm actually going to get it out. And it's not until about 9 that they finally take it out of my my airway. And oh my gosh, it was the best thing in the world. I could hardly talk though afterwards. because obviously it had been in for 24 hours. So my vocal cords were just all just kind of like, so it was very difficult for me to talk in the beginning. And because I remember after they took it out, they allowed my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt and my sister all came in to say hello to me. And I tried to talk, and you know, my aunt's like, Bree, just rest, you know, don't try to talk, understand, you know, we know that you love us, we love you too, and you know, we're so grateful to God that he brought you through the surgery. So they came in, and they, you know, they only let a few people in the ICU at a time. And I think I was in the ICU for about 9 days. I was in there for about 9 days. They kept me primarily because I had a collapsed lung, and so they were working on opening that up in order for me to before I could get moved to a different floor. And I'm gonna show you guys pictures. I will, okay, viewer discretion be advised, because some of the pictures that I'm going to show you for some people may be a little graphic. You'll be able to see the tumor. You'll see the tumor. You'll see Trevor. You'll see my incision, and yeah, those two things for some people might be a little like so viewer discretion please be advised.
So at this time, I'm going to be quiet and let Bree say a few words. Okay, you're on.
I don't really know what to say right now. I'm happy surgery is over. And I'm happy it was successful. Now, just waiting to get the clear to go up on the floor. Whoops.
It's okay.
I just been down here chilling. Trying to get my breathing together.
Yeah, she got his breathing pump. This thing here that she has to get up to, they wanted the whole 750, 1,000. She ain't got there yet, but she will. So.
My incision's pretty big, so it's gonna take me a little while.
Yeah, the surgery was big. Okay. So.
Making progress.
So I was in the ICU for about 9 days. They were working on getting my lung to open up. So I had, they put me on CPAP for a while. I was on CPAP. They would come in 4 or 2 o'clock in the morning to do breathing treatments. I was getting breathing treatments probably every 4 hours, I want to say, at first. And then it gradually increased to 6, 8, 12, so forth and so on. My dad was always trying to get me to talk, and I'm like, coming out of surgery, you know, you're high on medication, you got no idea what's going on. Like, the last thing you want to do is have a conversation or to say anything. So we're also going to take a look today at the few little words that I said one of the days that I was in the ICU. I'm not sure when it was, but you can also see that my body, I swole up a lot after surgery because they had me on steroids. They had me on, they had me on steroids. They had me on antibiotics. They had me on fluids. They had me on everything. So like, I am puffy in the face because of everything that they've been giving me, all the steroids and things of that sort. But I mean, I'm telling you, I remember the first time I got up to walk after surgery, and boy was that a task, because it felt like I was carrying excuse me, it felt like I was carrying like sacks of bricks on my hips and my thighs. Like everything was so heavy. Every step was like cemented. It was so hard to walk after surgery. But I definitely did get up. I believe I got up I want to say I got up the second day. It wasn't very long that I got up and walked after surgery. But I do have a story to tell you guys. So after surgery, for any of you that have been under, you know that along with the breathing tube that they insert, they also usually put you on put a catheter in you, so that, you know, while you're on the table and stuff like that, you're not just peeing all over the place. So I was catheterized, and it was time. Well, the urologist wanted to remove, they had placed stents in my ureters, so that during the surgery, the surgeon will be able to clearly see my ureters, and so that they wouldn't get cut. And they needed to take those out. So I had made an agreement with my doctor, and I'm like, you know, after they take the stents out, is it okay if we just keep the catheter out too? Because like, I'm 23, I'm independent, I don't want to be sitting here on no catheter if I could, you know, say differently. So he's like, yeah, we can take you off the catheter after you get your stents out. I don't see why not. So he was handsome too. This handsome fellow, he was a fellow on the nephrology team. So they're the people that work with the kidneys, and they're the ones that place the stents. So they were the ones that were going to take the stents out. And he was a fellow, so he was, you know, he had to be he was either a fellow or intern or something, or resident. He was a resident. That's the word. He was a resident. So whenever he had to do something, a procedure or whatever, he had to be supervised first. So he comes down. He is so excited. He's like, hey, I'm with the nephrology team. We're going to take out your stents today, blah, 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 blah. And it was him and a girl with him. And he's like, we're just going to get you prepped, and we're just going to wait on my, I don't remember what he had to wait on his supervisor, doctor person, to come before he can actually perform the procedure. So they get me all ready. Okay, y'all read between the lines here. He got me all ready, and I'm sitting there like, okay, any day now, like, is your doctor person gonna be here? I mean, I'm sitting there all open and exposed and like sanitized and whatnot, ready to go. And I mean, no exaggeration, it was about 10 minutes before his superior finally came. And like, my doc was at the curtain, because they had the curtain closed, and he was there with my nurse, and they were discussing things, and he had peeked in, but he didn't know the condition I was in, and it was like, oh, you know, my bad. I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's one thing I learned early on being in the hospital, is that I had to get used to being exposed. And I'm a modest individual, so that was hard for me. So I think it helped that I was like high on pain meds, because I knew but I didn't know at the same time. I was just like, hey, you know. So anyway, 10 minutes go by, it maybe even 12 or 15, and his superior finally comes down and is supervising him to do the procedure. And I lied to you not when I say it took all of 30 seconds. All of 30 seconds. I'm like, you really just had me exposed all of this time for this procedure to take less than a minute? But anyway, so that, oh man, that was something. I was just like, because literally his superior came down with like 3 other people. So I got 5 people in the room, just like, you know, hoo-ha all everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Never again, okay? Never again. I was like, that, man, was something to remember. Like I said, I think the only way I was able to manage it was because I was high. Otherwise, I'd have been like, if you don't cover me up right this instant, okay? I tell you, the best thing I remember, and obviously I wasn't able to eat right away. I didn't eat. Surgery was August the 6th. I wasn't allowed to start eating until sometime in September. So I was still on TPN. And I was on, you know, hydration and antibiotics and all sorts of stuff. But I was pleased that when I woke up and I looked down, that mass was gone, and that was such a relief. Well, the first relief was actually that I was alive. Now, I know, yes, I said before, and it's true, I believe that I was going to live. But whenever you go under, you still have that small amount of uncertainty, like, because once your nerves are completely dead to pain and stimulation, you have no idea what's happening. None whatsoever. It's not like going to sleep. Because if you sleep, somebody can just, you know, jolt you awake. When you are under, you know nothing. You know absolutely nothing. So it's like, when I opened my eyes, it was just like, oh, yes, I'm alive. And then on top of that, it was like, huh, the tumor is gone. Ah! Like, it was just, obviously I didn't do all that outwardly, because, you know, waking up groggy and all that kind of stuff. Inwardly, that's how I was feeling. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for following along with me. We're nearing the end of essentially the most critical part of my story. We're nearing the end of that. Now, of course, life happens and many things have happened since surgery, but we're coming to the end of that very critical area. So again, thank you guys so much for keeping up, tuning in. I appreciate your love and support. I really do. And we're going to stop there for today. So until next time, my brave, beautiful people, keep your head up, keep moving, stay strong. Whatever you do, don't stop moving. Just really don't stop moving. Make goals for yourself. Take every day as it comes, one day at a time. One breath at a time, one moment at a time. Don't try and jump too far ahead, okay? Stay in the here and now, but speak life to yourself, your present, your future. All right? Believe God, and until we meet again, take care. Toodles. Mwah.